Hello, I'm sorry to be late. I got chatting with my mailman. He's so nice. I have the best mailman. His name is Archie. He's awesome. I'm sorry to be late. See. Okay, we're live. Let me turn off this thing. So. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello, my friends. Hello. All right. So, if you were here last week, you know it's been a difficult time. You know that the world is turning upside down for a lot of people, and many of our Jewish friends, family, neighbors, and it's been very challenging few weeks. There are still hundreds of hostages being held, and so we're not going to get too much into the politics. I do just want to say, because I feel like we need to talk about this, not the details of what is going on, but I do feel like we need to talk about hey Hamid, you're a spammer and you're banned. Bye. See you, bye. We don't do spammers here, so if you're a spammer, just leave now, because we will ban you. It's as simple as that. You will be banned from the page. Don't come back. Zero tolerance, spammers. Fuck off. Sorry, I don't usually use language like that, but I'm a little... So, I do feel like it's really important to talk about the energy of what's going on, because, as you can tell, it's affecting mine. So... and it's affecting everyone's. Whether you have a personal connection to the Middle East, to people, to somebody who's Jewish, let me say this, that the Jewish communities around the world need love and support right now. And there's so much misinformation and there's so much going on, and that it's really important to have truthful information. And thank you very much. I appreciate the hugs. I will gladly take them. To be able to have, if you're following the news at all, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I want us to talk about the going above it, which is what was given to me today. But when you have people who attacked innocents for where they lived and because they were in the way, and then the way that these attacks were carried out, and the violence and the malice, there's no other word for it, the malice that was perpetrated on people being, beheaded and murdered and raped and burned in their homes. It is a dearth of emotions that go along with any of this. And regardless of what you may think about the actions that Israel did or did not take in that area of their territory, there's just no excuse. There's nothing that makes any of that stuff okay at all. There's nothing. And so you have all of these pro-Palestinian rallies and things that are going on. And one of the things I posted on my personal Facebook page today was, if they were saying free Palestine from Hamas, I'm all in. But we have to get a better grip on these organizations that have so little value of life. And I heard an absolutely fascinating story, and I did post it to my personal page, of a woman who survived these terrorists coming into her home by giving them cookies. And that is really where I wanted to start. And she talked with them, and she gave them cookies, and she asked why they were there and why they were so angry. And what they said to her and to her husband, who were being held hostage in their own home, was that they wanted to be martyrs because that is what's been taught to them as the highest value, higher value than human life. And so they were able to save their own lives until help could arrive with kindness. And I just thought that's really where we wanted to focus, because it's very easy to sink into anger. It's very easy to sink into rage and sadness when bad things happen. And let's be real, in our world, regardless of what country you're from, regardless of your political views, in our world, there is no shortage of bad things that we can look at and say, oh, this is a bad thing that happened, or this is something horrific that is going on. And I wish that that was not the case. I wish with all my heart that we have come to the place where humanity has evolved enough to say these horrific things of human against human are no longer necessary in our world. But we are not there yet. And it is very, very easy to sink into the sadness, the anger, the rage. And so when we come to these places where emotions and energy can be so high, I mean, I literally, and I apologized for it, but I literally bit the head off of some guy that called me today to talk to me about something that was like their mistake, and they wanted me to cover it, and it was just, and for me, I you know, and it's just it's a testament to where we are, where I am as with all of this energy. And so we talked a lot last week about really insulating ourselves from the news and things like that. We had such a blessing, such a gift of having 10 Israeli teenagers in our home this weekend. It's really just absolutely incredible to have them all here. A little chaotic, a lot of fun, really healing for all of us. And the thing that is really has come through. So after I fussed at this man, and then I apologized, of course. And turns out he also has family in Israel, so we had a bit of a chat, a little tiny bit. And I said, okay, I need to get a grip on me, because here we are to come to our time together. And also I don't want to live in that place. I want to live in this place. And so when we have our energies, hello, somebody of you are saying hello, 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 hello. Please forgive me, I'm not trying to ignore you. But when we live in this place, when we have things that are happening that are so horrible in our world, in so many different places. I mean, there is unrest in Africa. There is unrest in I forget where it is near, oh gosh, one of the stands that one country is trying to take over, and then Ukraine and Russia, and in Africa with in Nigeria and in the Middle East, and even in America, there is this strife and struggle that is happening everywhere. And so I got off the phone and I sat down and I said, okay, what do we need to know today? What do we need to know? What do we need to channel? Show me a way forward, because whether you are connected to Israel or not, a lot of us are feeling this heightened energy right now. We're all feeling this heightened anxiety. We're feeling this heightened tension. And what is it that we need to know about this, and how do we move forward? And we've talked in the past about, the people that come here on their path and people that come here to have certain experiences. But it's hard to reconcile that when you're looking at hostages and the elderly and little children and the fear that must be there. And I come back around to a couple of different things that they have been reminding me of. Because we look at these things and we think, what kind of a soul would sign up to be in that situation? Like, what does a soul need to learn to come to and say, I will volunteer to be a murdered baby or a kidnapped baby, or and even not even in the Middle East, but looking at so many abductions and things. I mean, there was just big in the news here of Natalie Holloway that had been missing and presumed dead for years in this country, and finally the family had some closure. And the thing, from the human perspective, we think these are monsters, but these are still humans in some way, and in every way, these still are also someone else's child, the perpetrators of these horrible things. And so I ask, what kind of, sorry, it's a little heavy today. What kind of soul, what does a soul need to learn that would come here to sign up to be someone like a Natalie Holloway, or like these children or elderly that have been kidnapped in Israel, or more? What kind of a soul signs up to be the perpetrators of these things? And the thing that I was reminded, because you think to yourself, what kind of a monster would do these things? Except when you pull back from the human side, and I want to come back to the chakras in a minute, so hang in there with me. But when you come back and we zoom out, right? Because everything where we are here is, as humans, it's very myopic, right? We see in our little thing, whatever news channel, whoever your people are, your circle of friends, they usually all agree with you. We live in a very myopic human bubble. But as a soul, when we pull back out, we zoom out and we connect into the higher, and we zoom out and we say, what is really going on here? I am reminded from them that, from my team, my channelers, my speakers, I am reminded that we are here to have these experiences, but to move society forward. And how much love, and this is hard, okay, this is a hard one. This has been hard for me for years, and on a soul level I get it. On a human and a mother and a female, I don't know, level, I struggle with it. So maybe you do too, or maybe we can come together on this. From the soul level, how much does this soul have to love endlessly this soul to say, I will go with you. I will incarnate with you. You have chosen to have this horrific experience to better understand what that is and to evolve your soul. And I love you so much, I will go with you and be the perpetrator. I will go with you and be the perpetrator, so that when you are there, some part of that higher soul recognition knows we did this together. Now, that is just one theory. It has been given to me by the channelers. It is just one idea. Like I said, from a human side, it is hard to get my mind around it. When I put that into context of drug addiction or homelessness or domestic violence, somehow I can get my human brain around it more. When it comes to something so big like terrorism and this malice, it feels bigger and harder to understand. And so I come back to one of my favorite Mary Kay-isms that, has always stuck with me. Mary Kay would say, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. And so when concepts feel so big and pain feels so big, or a journey or an adventure or a task or a dream, whatever, positive, negative, however, feels so big, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. We take, and I'm not suggesting we eat elephants, it's just a saying. I love elephants. They're endangered. We need to protect them. Total sidebar. But we take things one step at a time. We take it one step at a time. We move forward one step at a time. We can't expect the average human brain to say, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. I get it. Malice. Yeah, sure. Knock yourselves out. They really love each other. Like, sure, they must be. It's a really hard human concept. But when I tune into them and I ask them, how do we reconcile this? How does my feeble human brain understand these things, these atrocities that are happening, not just in Israel, but in so many places where people are just ruthless to each other, mindless of the value of human life anywhere. how do we reconcile that? And they continue to give me the same information again and again, because this isn't the first time that we've, that my brain has asked them of this question when some atrocity has happened in our world, to be like, how do I make sense of this? And moreover, how do I help others to make sense of it if I can't even grasp it myself? And so this is what has come into me is, and again, that it has come in repeatedly, this idea that these souls love each other so much that the one has said, I will go with you for this horrific thing, so that some part of your soul will recognize that you are not alone in this thing you have chosen to undertake. And again, I can't speak to anything being the gospel of the truth or the whatever until we get to the other side, but this is information that I felt like was valuable to share. And it is information that was asked of me to share in this time where it can feel very heavy and overwhelming, and like it's a lot to carry, and it's a lot to try to even begin to understand. That was the first thing. The second thing that they reminded me of is the chakras. And if you've been hanging around with me for any kind of time, you have heard me talk about humanity's evolution through the chakras. And each time we have seen humanity move to a new place. And again, you've heard me talk about how energy is not like a light switch. We don't go, base chakra, sacral chakra, solar, it's not, the energy switch doesn't turn on like a light, turn off like a light. It does not do that. The energy is gradual. It's a fade, right? If you've ever watched any kind of lighting, this light fades up, this light fades down, it changes color, it maybe shifts across the stage, it's a fade. And so every time we've seen humanity moving from one chakra area to the next in the last several hundred years, there has been something cataclysmic. And usually every 20 years or so, there's been something cataclysmic. And I don't mean cataclysmic like meteors, striking the planet and ending humanity as we know it, or anything like that, but some major, giant, world-shaking event. And is this it? It could be. I don't know that we know those things until we're, that hindsight is 2020. But what I know is that as humanity moves from chakra to chakra over a period of time, we see these major events that are a big part of pushing humanity to the next place. And I mention this because, and we've talked about this evolution before, and I wrote a blog about it on Medium that you can, if you want to hear my more detailed theory that was given to me, you can look on my blog page on Medium. But where we are now, and we have been here really in the 2000s, in the 2009, 2010, we have been in this place of the throat chakra. We have been in this time of the throat chakra where people are screaming for their truth. They're screaming to be heard. We saw, more recently, we saw Black Lives Matter. We see what's happening with the massive protests now. We saw in 2016, we saw March for Our Lives, and the tax fairness, and the women's marches, and all these different things, where we are seeing, and this is just what's happening in this country, we see big, protests going on in India and in France, and all these kind of things that were happening, where people are coming to the place of they are sick and tired of not being heard, and people want to be heard, whatever their cause is. So we are seeing so many more marches and protests, and people that are literally screaming to be heard as humanity is moving, closer and closer in this time of the throat chakra. We've been coming up and coming up and coming up, and we've been in the throat chakra for a while. But it's interesting because we know what comes next is the ears, because ears have chakras. They're not among the 7 main ones that we see, in the pictures all the time, but we have the ears, and then we have the third eye. And so there is this movement. We've already seen the fading, the merging, the blending that is coming up in through the ears and to the eyes. We're seeing this more, and I feel like this outburst of what is happening now, and again, not just in the Middle East, but in other places. Armenia, that was the other place where Armenia has having invasion attacks and land acquisition and things, and in Nigeria and in India and in these other countries. So it's not just the Middle East, but we're seeing this unrest It is shaking the status quo in ways we've never seen before. And I say that we've never seen it before because every time this shaking happens and we move from one chakra to the next chakra, we develop a new understanding, a new place of existence. So we think about COVID, right? We had life as we knew it, and then COVID came along and everything shut down. And while we were in that place, we adapted and grew and shifted to a new kind of existence. And so that when the next thing comes, it shakes up what has become the status quo, because that wasn't the status quo before COVID, but through that whole time period and that shifting and adjusting, because humanity has an amazing ability to adapt, we developed a new status quo. And now here we are to the next thing that is shaking the foundations of what we now consider to be the status quo, and we will see that shake again. And we will see a new status quo, a new definition of normal or common or hopefully calmer that will eventually come. And so we are in this time of the throat chakra. But this level of elevation makes me feel like, because you have the ones who are the early adopters, and I'm getting all this information is what's coming through me right now. We have all these people who are early adopters, the people who can see, like you all, like we are, the light workers, people who can see a bigger picture, who can zoom out and see from the soul level, people who can see it from a different perspective and not just the trenches, myopic human view, that we can see it from a different perspective. Those are the early adopters who are already up through the ears and who are already coming into the third eye part. The people who know we need to come from a place of love and light. People who know that love is the more powerful energy of the universe, not violence and hate and racism and all of these things. That love is the thing that's going to heal our world. That those are the people that have kind of come before the early adopters that are already up here. And then you have the masses, the more, regular amount, the regular people who are like, oh, well, there's something else that's going on here. Maybe I'm going to take, my mother is taking yoga. Okay? Like, this is where the masses are coming into that next chakra. My mother is taking a yoga class. And so my mother, who still looks askance at the work that I do, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm taking yoga. I'm like it's the most normal thing in the world. Whereas if you just said to her 6 months ago, she'd go, oh, I can't do that. So we see this evolution. If we are looking around, even if it's just the people who are closest to us, we are seeing this evolution of the people who are in what we would call the masses are finally moving into this place. And so we're seeing this extra amplification of what is going on coming out the mouth of voices being heard. And what leads me to believe is once you get the masses, all that's left is what we would call the stragglers. So if you think about technology, people who adopt technology, like, oh, the latest iPhone, the newest app, people who got on Zoom right away when COVID was coming, people who might have already been on Zoom would be the early adopters, and then you have all the people that got on Zoom during COVID, and then you have the stragglers who are still even now trying to be like, what, mute? Where is that mute button? I don't understand, right? So we have these phases of humanity as we move. And so I feel like there is something from the soul level, there is something encouraging about seeing the masses finally coming into this area of the energy and the chakras. I hope as some of this is making sense. Oh, Belinda understands, yay. So hopefully some of this is making sense. And so as we continue to do this, the things that give me hope is that what comes after the yelling and the screaming, for a very poor analogy, is the makeup sex, right? We have our ears and we have our eyes and we have our third eye, and we come back to that place of, gee, I'm really sorry, let's try this again. Let's see how we can compromise and come together and move forward in a better way. That's what's going to be, from here up. So where we are still is not quite in the ears, though those early adopters are up into the ears and the third eye already, but we have that. So, makeup sex. Why did that hide your comment? So silly. Okay, so the other part is that gives me hope is that piece of the soul pairings. We know that we have twin flames. We know that we have the yin and the yang, the pair to our soul. We know that we come from soul families. We know that we are part of a collective on the other side. We are not necessarily part of a collective here. I mean, some people, choose to live that way, but most humans are not in a collective. You might be in a family, a multi-generational family home, which is awesome. But most of us are not part of the unimind, that collective mentality. But when we get back to the other side, we remember all the things we can't remember while we're here. And we remember that we are part of a higher mind, a hive mentality, a collective of souls, multiple collectives of souls. And when we are here, we don't remember that. And so here we have the souls that are here to support each other. These are your soulmates, your family groupings, and you say, I thought that person is familiar. Like, I feel like I really have that connection. We incarnate with those same people over and over again because we are here on the same mission. And so I wonder, are the people who are perpetrating violence, the people who are the victims of violence, is there a soul connection that is not visible? From the outside, we say, that person's a monster. Look what the horrible thing that they did. And then from the higher, zoomed out perspective, I wonder. And I have no reason to doubt my communicators. I never have a reason to doubt them. But I think sometimes these things are so big, it's hard to get our little human brains around them. So that's what's been asked for me to share with you today. When we get angry, there was one more thing. I had written down some notes that they had given me. When we get angry, we miss opportunities for growth. When we are angry, it is hard to maybe keep our temper, keep our, Olivia, you're a spammer, so you're banned. Bye. See you, bye. Bye, spammers. When we are in anger, we miss out on those opportunities for growth. And so it's important for us to try to stay, when we anger anger or sadness. It's easier when it's further away. When it's our person, that it's really hard to be in grief and think of growth, or to be in anger and think of growth. But it's something to think about. Okay, I'm not saying there's no right or wrong way to do grief, but it's important we don't let our anger overcome us and overtake us. It's important that when we get into those places of anger, we can stop for a minute and say, well, what am I supposed to be learning here? Or what could I learn? Or my favorite question, oh, look, another one. Sal, you're a spammer and you're banned. Bye. See you, bye. My favorite question is, look, if you're a spammer, just leave, because I'm going to ban you. It's that simple. See you, bye. The better question is, what am I missing? That's the better question. So it's not always, what am I missing? Or what, it's not always, what can I learn from this? Because when we're in grief and anger, it can be really hard for us to stop and say, this situation is horrible. I'm so much pain and anger. What could I learn from? No, we don't do that. Like, that's not how humans work. We either hide away from it, or we move into action to try and make it better, try and fight against it. We can't fight against something and move through it with love at the same time. We cannot simultaneously prepare for a crisis at the same time welcoming the abundance. It's incongruous energy. And so when we're in those places of anger and frustration and grief, the human brain is not going, this fucking sucks. What can I learn from it? That's not realistic. But one thing that we can ask is, what else, how else can I look at this? What am I missing? Is one of those questions that when things really suck and I'm really in the weeds about it, I will ask them, what am I missing here? Because it's not to say that if you're an enlightened person, things aren't going to suck. Shit happens for all of us. There's, nobody gets to the end alive. We're all going to have the transition. We're all going to lose people. Stuff's going to happen. But it doesn't necessarily have to, hopefully, be the most horrific. Now, some passings and things are just horrific, and we're seeing that play out right now. But, so I don't lean into what can I learn from this, because, sometimes I learn that just sucked, and I never want to see any part of that ever again. And maybe that's what I learned. And that's okay, because that's something I learned. Honestly, probably didn't need to learn it. But what am I missing? What's another way to see this situation that might be less sucky? So these are things to think about, because where we are now, we're in the first quarter of the Capricorn moon, and it's a time to be kind. It's a time to be kind to ourselves. And one of the things and not to be egotistical, I love it. Maria has a wonderful comment. Sorry, it came up as a paragraph. I thought for a second you were a spammer. I'm glad that I didn't ban you, because we don't want to ban you. She says, I love that when we are angry, we miss out on an opportunity for growth. Move through it with love. How else can I look at that? So awesome. Okay, so I'm glad this is making sense to some of you. That's good. This new moon in Capricorn is this time of kindness. It's a time to be kind to ourselves. So when we have those feelings of anger and grief and all the normal things, to then say, okay, I'm not going to live in that, but I'm going to be kind to myself. So how can I help myself move? We may not be ready to move through it, especially if it's intense grief. We might not be ready to move through it. But how can I lessen this for now is another really important question. Because with stuff that's going on right now, if you have family in any of these war-torn places, we may not be able to move through just yet. But how can we lessen this intensity so that we're not living with a hair trigger where somebody calls us and we're just going to bite their head off? Because that's not healthy for us. That's not healthy for them. That's not spreading the light. That's not spreading compassion or kindness or any of those things. We want to be more of, this sucks, I'm having a hard time dealing with it. What can I do? How can I lessen the intensity? I'm not denying the feelings. I'm not walking away from the feelings. How can I lessen the intensity of this so it does not overtake me? That is another very important question. Okay, because I sat with this and I thought, if I am struggling, I know I'm not the only who is struggling. And I don't mean to sound egotistical, like, oh, if I'm struggling with it, you must be too. But there is part of this there is a communal aspect to this, because it's not just Israel, it's not just Ukraine. There's so much of this kind of energy that's going on right now. So, all right, so I did ask for which cards we should use today. And I do want to say, as we are in the Capricorn moon, this is also a good time to look at career, what your occupational things might be going on, and to look at what changes in your, if you are looking at changes to your career or to your job situation, this is a good time. So I did want to make a mention of that. So I grabbed our farmer animal spirit book, and I'm just going to flip open a page. I'm just going to trust that they're going to post in the right place. So, okay. So this is the page that says Roadrunner and Robin. So I just trust that they're going to give us the right thing. I didn't have a specific animal in mind. The Roadrunner says, and this is in case if you hadn't ever seen a Roadrunner, this is what they look like. So they don't really look like, the cartoon. So make sure I get it on Instagram too, so you can see that. Okay, because don't think I've ever seen a real one. There are situations occurring in your life that require you to think on your feet, change direction quickly, and adapt to the new course, which you're quite capable of doing. This is a great time to make some plans and put them into action so you can manifest whatever it is that you want. Be willing to laugh at yourself and not take your quirks and idiosyncrasies too seriously. Explore and experiment with different ways you can benefit yourself and others spiritually, emotionally, physically, and through the use of sound. Be sure to take care of yourself first before you attempt to take care of others so you can be completely present when you're in service to them. So I do feel like there's definitely some things there that align with what we've been talking about. Thinking on our feet, to make some plans, and that we can stay in that place of positivity, being willing to laugh at ourselves, and to experiment with different ways so we can be taking care of ourselves. I think that's really important. I think there was some good stuff in there. All right, so the other deck that I pulled up was Daily Guidance from the Angels, the Archangels, and I think that we'll use that deck today for our collective card reading. I figure we could all use some extra angels around us, so we'll do that. And we'll do a collective card reading, a couple of cards for that, and then we will see where we are. All right. So, all right, I will say that having 10 house guests in my house this weekend, my dogs are exhausted. They had so much fun playing with all the people. All the people were talking to them. Oh, so we have a jumper card right away. This is one of the things that I absolutely love about working with cards, because they prove to us that Spirit is listening. So this card literally jumped out while I was shuffling the deck. I don't know if you can see it. It says, see only love. See only love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings. See only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. See only love. I'm going to put that one right here because we should definitely be reminded of that. See only love. And I love when the cards prove to us and remind us that they are listening, that they are with us, that they are here. Our communicators are with us. So that makes me happy. All right, perfect timing. This is the next card is perfect timing, because when we start a card reading, we always say, well, what is the most important thing we need to know? What is the most important thing we need to know? See only love. Oh, thank you, Catherine. All right, perfect timing. This says now is the perfect moment for you to act on your inspirations. The doors are wide open while you walk through them with us by your side. Don't delay or procrastinate, as all of the ingredients are ripe for your success. Everything and everyone is on your side, supporting your positive outcome. Sorry, it's white. I think white ink should be out. It's so hard to read. But I love this because we were just talking about this is the first quarter of the moon, and that we are, this is the Capricorn moon, so this is a good time for those changes of occupation. So if you're looking to make some changes to your work situation, your work-life balance, or career change, any of those things, this is the time to do it. So so that's a great confirmation. So once we pass the first card of what do we most need to know about the current situation, we get see only love. And as we move to the next, like, well, what actions do we take? How do we go forward? It says perfect timing. Perfect timing, the card that we just had, that says this is the time to make some changes, but also to keep that self-care and that follow the things that are in your heart. This is a good time to do those things, to start moving those to move in that direction. Remember, things are not always instantaneous. So if you say, oh, this is something I want to do or create or have into my life, it may not manifest itself by the next new moon, but this is the time to start those wheels turning, whether that's in your head or in your heart, or to start those wheels turning around yourself just by taking some small actions. Remember, we talked before about not necessarily being these giant leaps, but that we can take, what is that, eat the elephant one bite at a time, right? What is one step, one smaller step? One could be a big bite, but what step can I take? So Catherine, hold on, we're still doing the group cards, okay? All right, so then the third card is, okay, as we go forward, what is the, what else do we need to know about this to help us ensure success and security and safety as we go forward? And this is ground yourself. This is ground yourself. And so ground yourself, and again, all these cards have white text. Ground yourself says, When you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although pleasant to float heavenward, your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. So we have this. So originally we say, okay, what do we most need to know in the situation right now? And that is to see only the love, right? Assume a good intent and see the love and know that they are with us, and that everything, that's going on, even the perpetrators, that's somebody's child, that's somebody's parent. There is some sort of a love that we can see, whether it's on the human level or the soul level, we can see that's in there. And we say, okay, well, where do we go from there? What is the next steps that we take? And it says perfect timing. So this is the time to start moving forward towards those things that are in your heart, right? And as we are in that first quarter of the Capricorn moon, this is a good time for things like job shifts and taking on new new goals, new adventures, new passion projects. But let's also remember that we want to stay grounded. We want to stay connected to Mother Earth. We want to stay connected as above and as below. And if you need a little help with that, this past Thursday's meditation was all about that, getting us connected, expanding our light, the chakras, and connecting us above and below, keeping us grounded, and yet still connected to the light of all that is. So, all right. So, having said all of that, we're going to get some water. And okay, and then we will do, it's my sparkly little, got glitter in my water bottle. It's very fun to play with. All right, so we're going to do some individual cards. So now, and we will start with Catherine. So even though she jumped the gun, we will start with Catherine. If you would like to have a card reading, here they all come. So, yes. All right, so we're going to start with Catherine. And so remember to keep that question of whatever it is that you want to know, have that in your heart, in your mind. You don't have to tell it to us. Just have that be somewhere in your brain so that you can we'll pull a card that will be relevant to that, because they are always listening. So Catherine, new partner is the card that comes up for you, new partner. Now that's not necessarily a romantic partner, but this is new partner. It says, I gotta get my little flashlight. These white fonts are giving me a headache. Okay. So, new partner. A chance meeting is no mistake. It's divinely orchestrated as a catalyst to set the wheels in motion for the fruition of your prayers. Pay careful attention to the new people we're sending into your life. You will recognize them by your sense of familiarity, comfort, and safety. So, Catherine, this is a new relationship that's coming your way. So, somebody new that you haven't met yet that's coming into your life that is going to help bring blessing and bring abundance, something positive that's coming to you. So, our inclination always to look like, something, necessarily romantic, but there can be relationships in all different kind of ways. Also keeping in mind, because this is what's coming in for me, is that it could also be a pet or like a dog. Catherine, this could be something around, not necessarily a partner that's a human partner. It could also be, business partner would hopefully be human, but it also could be something connected to a dog or a different kind of an animal. So, Catherine, there is some partnership that is coming your way that is going to help lift you, raise your vibration, and bless your life. So be open to that. Try to stay away from those things that's like, now I know this, I want to place my order. It doesn't quite work that way, like if you're looking for tall, dark, and handsome, but to be able to say, I would love a partner who can help me with, what do you got? Okay, so you can kind of place your order to the universe. Yes, you can. And when I say kind of, the universe will always respond to us, but the thing is that we put in this thing, and then when it doesn't look exactly like what we think it should or how we imagined it, we go, no, that's not it. And the universe is going, hello! So I look forward to seeing how that goes forward. All right, so we have a card for Miss Bianca. So Miss Bianca. This says, notice the signs. Okay, well, we literally just were talking about that, weren't we? Right? Notice the signs. It says, the signs you've been receiving are heaven sent. We drop feathers, coins, and other signs upon your path to remind you that you're loved and never alone. So, Bianca, this feels with me, it feels like there's been more to that. Like, I want to talk about gum on the sidewalk, and I also want to talk about, like a bird nest or something that has been around you, that is showing you signs. So the things that you are getting, these nudges that you are saying, is this a nudge from the universe? What they're saying to you right now with this card is, yes, it absolutely is. It doesn't matter whether it looks like the sign you asked for or the thing you, like it doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like, just that, yes, it is. Those nudges that you've been getting, that you've been like, is it? They're saying, yes, it is. Okay, they're definitely saying, yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to go to Valencia. And then Ellen. Valencia. Okay. Valencia, your card says energy work. Energy work. You're welcome, my dear friend Bianca. I love you. Energy work. Valencia says energy work. And Valencia, it says, life can be electrifying because its very essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatments. Your hands and your heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and clients. So, Valencia, I don't know that you're an energy worker, but what it does feel like here is that it may be guiding you to receive some energy work. And it's interesting because I do hear that thing about career change in my head, and it's not necessarily about like I'm quitting this and I'm going to this, but it is all about exposing yourself to something new, and allowing yourself to receive that new information, to bring in this the energy, to shift the energy that's around you, to learn some skills about how to protect the energy you're receiving, to protect the energy you're welcoming in, to allow yourself to see things like we've been talking about, to zoom out and see things from a different perspective. So this is what's coming in for you, Valencia. Okay. All right. So we have Ellen and then Belinda. And I see Maria and Chris. And I see Catherine, we did you already. You were first, so you may have to watch the replay, Catherine, because we did you first. You actually had gotten the first message today, and so sorry about that. If you missed me, it's definitely in there for the replay, so we'll get you back on that. So, Ellen Jane. You are welcome, Valencia. I hope that is helpful to you. It's interesting because it does feel like there's an opening that's going on with you, Valencia, like to receive this energy medicine, to receive this energy work, and it does feel like it pulls you in this direction, like Spirit's been trying to move you in a direction more of healing, not necessarily like hanging out a shingle, but like getting healing, learning how to do healing, bringing that into yourself, into your family, to have this knowledge, this wisdom that's already inside you. It does feel like they've been trying to pull you in that direction. So I really look forward to hearing what happens with that, Valencia. All right, so we have, where am I? Ellen Jane. Is that right? Did we just do Ellen? Where did I leave off? Hold on. I did Valencia, but it's so weird because now that Valencia's comment, I can't see it. All right. So we're going to Ellen. Ellen, did we do you already? Ellen is right? Okay. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. All right. Ellen Jane. That's what I thought we were. So Ellen Jane, this card says listen. This card says listen. Listen. This card says listen. Okay. All right. So Ellen Jane, this card says listen. It says, quiet your mind, beloved one. Listen to our gentle reassurance that everything has been taken care of. Stay in a quiet and receptive state without worrying about the exact nature of your desire's manifestation. A quiet mind and body hears us quickly and clearly. This is our request to you. Listen. So Ellen Jane, they're also talking to you. And it's similar to what we had said to Bianca about knowing that the signs are coming, and that if we can quiet ourselves and just get into a little bit of a quiet mind and asking those questions. So for me, the question I ask every single morning is, what do I need to know for my highest and best good in order to help move myself forward and to move myself and others forward on our path for the highest and best good? Okay, so this may be something that you need to, I don't like to use the need, but that you might want to think about is, what is it that they are trying to tell you to help you move forward for your highest and best good? Because there's definitely things that are It's, I feel it in my shoulder. I feel like they're like, come on, come on, come on. So Ellen Jane, we want to invite you to get into some meditation or something so that you can get connected more fully to what they're trying to share with you. Okay, hello, hello, welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, so it's Ellen. So Belinda, and then Maria, and then wait, I see Athena in there. All right, so Belinda. Okay, so the See Only Love card came up again, Belinda, so I'm going to pull another one because I meant to leave that one sitting off to the side and I apparently did not. So Belinda, we need a card for Belinda. Okay. All right, so if you're new, because I know a lot of you are new today, so we go in the order of the comments that I can see on my screen, so just hang in there with me. This is interesting. All right, Belinda, so I also just pulled up new partner. Now that may be new partner. That's not so far-fetched for it to come up a second time, but I'm still gonna pull one more. Ellen Jane, I look forward to hearing what happens. Okay. Trustworthy guidance, Belinda, trustworthy guidance. And so this says, you have received a wonderful idea as an answer to your prayers. This idea is real and trustworthy. You can safely move forward with it, knowing that we are with you every step of the way. Ask for and be open to receiving our support for anything that you need related to this idea. So Belinda, there is that shift that's coming for you to move, also moving in a new direction. This new moon in Capricorn has relevance for you too. And it gives you, the desire here is to give you the confidence to know that, oh yeah, I hear that. Okay, so Belinda, the thing that I'm getting about this is I want to say this to you, and I mean this with so much love in my heart because I don't ever like to use the word stupid, but it's not, what I want to say is the ideas are not stupid. These things that are popping into your head that you're dismissing because you're like, oh, that's dumb, or oh, I can't do that, or oh, that'll never happen. This is what's coming through is to shift that, to take the curtain off of that, and to say, no, stop saying that, because we're right here behind you trying to give you this support and these ideas. So these things that are popping into your head that are being dismissed out of hand, they're trying to say to you, stop that. Because it feels like there's, Belinda, would you understand something around the kitchen with you, like baking or something that feels important, that is things that you are getting these ideas of shifts that you could make, and then the ego side of it is negating it, and they're being like, yo, stop doing that. Okay, so hopefully that is helping. Okay, and Maria, and then Chris, and then we're going to have Athena. Welcome, welcome. Maria and Chris. Okay, so Maria. Ooh, I got a jumper, Maria. That must be for you. Started a new job today, and your anxiety is not good. Okay, so the things that you're hearing in your head, they're just talking to you about listening, and it is possible it's not the right place for you, or that there's a different position within the company that's a better fit. There's a shift. It's not, I'm not bolting to the door. I'm not seeing that. I know this card was for Belinda, but as soon as Catherine said that, I got more information about it, so we'll just tack in on that same card. Catherine, it's not, I'm not seeing a bolt for the door. I'm feeling this. It's not the bolt for the door. It's a shift within the space. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Where am I? Okay, Maria. So the card that I pulled for Maria is go for it. Your prayers, go for it. Your prayers and positive energies, your prayers and positive expectations have been heard and answered. We've been working with you on the situation since its genesis, and we continue to watch over you until and everyone involved. Stay on your present path, as it will take you very far indeed. Okay, so go for it. Maria, all lights are green. Go forward with confidence and faith and strong sense of self. Maria, this is, it's just like this parting of the ways, like things that have been moving out of your space and moving out of your way. I'm not convinced that you see it that way yet, but what I do feel like is as you start to walk, like Nakshan in the water, when you start to walk and you go into the waters will part. So have that faith and allow that to go with you for Maria. Okay. Chris wants a job, specifically a card just about specific about the job. Yes, because jumping. We have a card specifically about the job. Yes. Okay, and then we're gonna have Athena, and I do see Stuart. Oh, good, Maria. Good, excellent. You are welcome beyond welcome. All right, Chris. So again, this is the first quarter Capricorn moon. So this is the opportunity for job shifting. So this is the card that jumped from me, Chris, is the opportunity to forgive. But it jumped, but the other card that came in is notice the signs. So I'm going to give both. So the opportunity to forgive says, the situation brings you the opportunity to heal and grow and to release negative patterns. Hold the intention of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. We will help you release the unforgiving thoughts, feelings, and energies and lift you to a higher place of peace and compassion. I say this because it feels like, also with you, it feels like not leaving the day job, but it does feel like a shift. I do feel like there's a step up, as if I'm asking for more with this job. I'm asking for more with the job. And so the other card that came in was notice the signs. And we saw that, yes, the signs you've been receiving are heaven sent. We drop feathers and coins and other signs to remind you that you're never alone and that you are loved. So let me give you both of these. But Chris, it does feel like that there is an asking for more. There is something of like, it's what I'm hearing in my head is we were talking about eating the elephant one bite at a time, and what I'm getting in my head is take a bigger bite. So it feels like asking for more. I hope that makes sense. All right, so we have Chris, and then we're going to have Athena, and then, okay, oops, sorry, hang on, Athena and Stuart. All right, so Athena and Stuart. All right, Athena and Stuart. And so again, have your that question that you have in your mind, and you don't have to necessarily share it, but I see Stuart has shared, and that's awesome too. So Athena, card for Athena is Shower of Abundance. It says to heal your financial situation, first give us your worries concerning money. We will guide you in order to show you how to create and accept abundance. As we work together, your financial situation will heal as fast as you'll allow. Now Athena, this card comes in upside down, which tells me we're having some resistance to trusting that the situation can change. And it's not just about financial abundance. I know it's talking about shower of abundance, and it's talking in the text about financial abundance, but what I'm feeling about it is that it is abundance in a specific area, not necessarily finances, but it's talking about, because it came in upside down, it's talking about not being resistant to the idea that the situation could become abundant. Sometimes we get this idea in our head that we just don't see this growing or blowing up or expanding in a way that we can understand it. So what they're talking about is just trust us that we're going to help you to expand this if you'll allow us. And that has to do with that perception part where we take that like restriction thinking off of our brain. And so the thing I would give to you that is coming in for me is that question of what if. What if this worked? What if this blew up? What if this exploded financially? What if this allowed me to help more people? What if this brought more joy and abundance and blessing into my life? What if? What if? What if is one of my favorite questions. So Athena, I'm going to give you that. And I hope that helps you. And then we're going to go back to Stuart, which I'm so happy to see someone named Stuart here today, because I had my friend who just lost her husband. His name was Stuart, so I take a good sign of you being here to visit us, Stuart, because I don't think we've ever had somebody named Stuart come on, so I'm really glad. I'm sorry for whatever happened with your friend Dougie. We're going to see if we can get you some more information. All right, and then we're going to wrap it up. We'll pull our one more card to close it out for everybody. So Stuart, this card comes in, it says cleanse and detoxify. Cleanse and detoxify. And so this says, With great love and respect, we ask you to detoxify your precious and sensitive body. At your request, we will help you to develop life-affirming ways to deal with stress, as well as ease any sorrow as shedding of your old ways. Give your cares and worries and concerns to us and feel the beautiful grace of your newly purified body. So what this means, Stuart, is that it's important for you to release. We want to release guilt. We want to release anger, frustration, any negative emotions, anything low vibration, whether we have culpability or not. We're not talking about blame, but we are talking about releasing the toxicity around this situation with Dougie. We are talking about infusing that with clean, revitalized, love-based energy, and then asking the angels and guides to work on your behalf according to the law of grace. You can send that healing to Dougie, and you can put that as a channel between the two of you to help you cleanse and refurbish the cords between you and help to rebuild that situation. I want to say to you that the situation is reparable, but it is, I feel like, wading into a very chilly pool or a very hot bath of water where you get in very slowly because it's like uncomfortable and you're not really sure what it's doing, but you know you want to get in there. Okay. And so the thing I want to say to you is to be able to cleanse you as you have been instructed to cleanse and detoxify all of the feelings of guilt or anger or frustration or any of the things that are calcifying the situation, and infuse that situation back, fill it in with love and generosity and compassion, and allow for that to do its work, and allow for the angels to ask the angels to send and connect those energies together for you, so that under the law of grace, if Dougie is willing to receive, that will infuse him with those energies as well. So I do feel like right now where you stand is on a precipice, but there is a place of reconciliation and healing, but it's going to take a little bit of time, and the situation just needs to be cleared out. Okay, and that's not necessarily, I don't feel like, more like talking it through is not the answer. So at this point, because I feel like y'all have talked to death, or it has, like, there's just not that openness to the communication right now, but to just, you do your work and allow the rest of it to infiltrate and osmosis into creating a space of communication between the two of you down the road. I would say give it a couple of months. I feel like three months is what we're talking about there. All right, so Daniel, welcome. Thanks for coming in right at the tail end. You just made it, and so we will pull a card for you, and then we will close it up. Okay, so Daniel's going to be our last, and we've got Daniel. Notice the signs. So Daniel, this card says, yes, this has come up a lot today. I think this is the third or fourth time. It says, yes, the signs you've been receiving are heaven sent. We drop feathers and coins and other signs upon your path to remind you that you are loved and never alone. So, Daniel, this is, okay, Danielle. We'll finish with Danielle. Spirit maybe didn't hear so well. So, Daniel, just know that the things that you're seeing, the things that you're noticing, the things that you're like, is that a sign? They're being like, yes, hello, we're screaming over here. And our part is to be able to be like, you know what? I bet that's a sign. I'm going to lean into that. They're really encouraging you to try and lean into that. Remember, the more you lean into spirit, the more you learn to trust them. For me, where I'm at with my guides is I have no reason not to trust them. They give me that guidance. I'm like, done, whatever it is. Even if it doesn't make sense to me, I just trust them implicitly because we built this relationship over time. And so for Daniel, just that, start building that relationship, or build that relationship even deeper, so that you are trusting them. They're trying to communicate with you. They're trying to be like, we are here, and they really want you to pay attention to that. So there's really good guidance that's coming to you. I literally see your car like turning, but again, it's up to you about tuning into that and allowing them to be that good influence into your life. Just trust. They are. Spirit never has anything but our best interest at heart. And even if it's not comfortable for us, it is always for the highest good that, if we take a left, we should have taken a right. It's always for our highest good. So just trust that what you're receiving, okay? All right, Danielle, as opposed to Daniel, this is ground yourself, and we saw this card a little earlier too. You can watch the replay if you want to hear how this went before. But Daniel, this is, when you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. And although it's it is pleasant to float heavenward, your intention and work are needed upon the earth. We're here to help you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. So Danielle, don't get so caught up in the headspace that we forget to do the real things. At the same time, we want to stay that connection between as above as below, so that we are grounded in who we are and what we are and where we are going, so that spirit can come in and be more of a guide for us and know what path that we're on, so spirit knows what part to play. When we're just floating around there, we're just like a feather in the wind, and it's just going to be blown here, blown there, blown there. It's important for us to stay grounded and to know who we are and what we want, so that we can give that order to the universe and say, okay, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, so that we are connected and we say, okay, this is who I am and what I'm about, and here's how spirit's going to help me. Okay, so that we are working in a cooperative, collaborative relationship with spirit, and not just a whatever, because they do want to help us go where we're intending to go, but that means we have to know and we have to be able to share it with them. So, all right, we're going to pull one last card for the closure. You are welcome. One last card for the closure, and this card is, wait, these cards are coming up a lot. Okay, so what I'm pulling is ground yourself, new partner, and trustworthy guidance, which we've already seen several times. So I'm going to pull past those, and we come into the card of go for it. And we are seeing this also because we are in this first quarter moon of the Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, which is really has been opening a lot of doors about making some shifts, especially around occupation or vocation, things that we do for our job, how we spend our days, how we bring money in, to see different changes, whether we're taking a class or we're offering a service or some kind of an expansion around changing our vocation or how we spend our days. And so with this Go For It card, it's reminding us that as we are in this time of the first quarter moon of Capricorn, that this is an excellent time, that really the lights are green. And so if there's something that's been in your heart that you've really wanted to do, this is an awesome time to start it. It doesn't mean you have to finish it before the next full new moon. It's just this is a great time to get it started. So, oh, me too, Capricorns. Whoop, whoop. All right, you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Last week on Thursday, we did in the meditation, Thursday evening, we did a whole meditation about connecting as above as below. So feel free to go back and watch that. Thank you so much for taking some time to be with us. We shared some really important channeled information at the beginning, so hope you'll go back and take some time to check that out. Also, remember that we will turn off the comments as soon as we're done to help protect you all from spammers. And just have a great week. Try to rise above the noise. Stay in the place of love, kindness, and emanating that for others. And always, always know how very much you are loved. Mwah. We'll see you next week.